We did a lot of stupid stuff on that movie, come to think of it. But, you know, back in the day, it was, you know, that's the practice of it.
Absolutely.
We just did it.
Hi, I'm Tara Bennett, a contributing editor for Sci-Fi Wire, and I am so pleased to say today that we have two distinguished legends from John Carpenter's The Thing, Mr. Larry Franco, who was the producer and a first AD on the film, and the wonderful Mr. Keith David, who was Childs. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk about the beginning of the film, and true fans of the movie know that the helicopter sequence, you're the guy hanging out of that the helicopter shooting at the dog, so how did you get in that position?
We had decided that we were going to shoot on a real glacier. The trick to that was there was only 12 people who could go. And so everybody was doing everybody else's job. So,
Gotcha.
you know, I was the assistant dog trainer, I was the helicopter pilot, I was the third grip, and that's how it basically happened, is I'm going to be the guy hanging out the helicopter, and I was just, you know, turning back and forth and saying store, blah, 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 and then they you know, and then I had to voice it later, but it was a thrill for me. It was fantastic. There was no way I was falling out of that helicopter. They had me bolted in like, I mean, forget it. There's no way. The only thing I had to worry about is this guy, because this guy was a cowboy. The guy, I don't remember if you remember Kenny Strange.
Yeah.
That was the name. That was the name of the pilot, Kenny Strange.
Oh God.
Okay, and this guy was wild. So, okay, go circle around for a couple minutes. We're going to change the camera angles, and old Kenny would just like peel off like that, and I'm like, you know, he was. But for me, it was a lot. I was a kid then. It didn't matter.
So you were okay.
Nothing was going to happen to me. I was,
No air sickness for Larry.
We were cool. It didn't matter.
I remember going, you know, taking a helicopter ride, and you know, up in Alaska, you know, with the cold fronts, and you get this fog, and so we were going to take a little ride out. And we rode into a whiteout.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So you could see nothing, and you know, you have to trust your instruments.
Right.
But once we got into it, he just turned around.
Yeah, there's no way. As soon as they get into it, they just bail out.
They just bail out and get back out
quickly.
again.
Yeah. Because it really is scary because you don't have any.
You have no depth perception. Wow. So a book of matches could look like a house.
Oh wow.
Or a house could look like a, you know, and if you're in that thing, you know, you could crash, so you just turn around.
We did a lot of stupid stuff on that movie, come to think of it. But, you know, back in the day, it was, you know, that's the practice of it.
Absolutely.
We just did it.
When you were on location then, you know, you had, in that environment, you're limited with your resources, you don't have as much stuff, you know, like you do here in a studio. You had that huge compound explosion to do. Was there anything when you were like, even as a first AD, going, oh God, you know, please, I hope this goes right?
The blowing up of the camp is kind of a weird thing because that camp was built like to stay. To blow it all up at the end, there was a tremendous amount of scoring because it wasn't balsa wood, it was like real wood and things.
Heavy, like, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody had to be miles, well, at least a mile away from all of it. And just, I can remember, because I was down near the ground zero there, because I was the guy that was going to say, okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Just the amount of gasoline and stuff that was poured into bombs and things that were going off. And
Roy would tell me, okay, this will go first, and this one, and this one. We had to put pretty full loads of film on these cameras because we would, you know, put them in the middle of the camp, flick on the switch, and then run.
The one anecdote that I can remember was, you know, it was going to be, okay, we all hid behind, there was a big caterpillar to move snow around and stuff, and so there were 4 or 5 of us there.
We're all hiding behind this thing, and just the quiet before.
Yeah.
You know, and then we hear the go, and it starts going. It was fascinating.
That's great.
We go through everything, the thing goes off, and of course it was a huge, big deal.
Yeah.
And we felt the heat, and we felt the air, you know, we were like, oh, God damn it, that was great. Let's go see. So we start walking out, and we get about 5 or 6 paces, and boom!
Oh,
this
no.
one bomb didn't go off. And you talk about scared. I mean, the guys that were 5 or 6 of us, I can remember Clyde Brown. You remember Clyde was the camera assistant. He was flipping. He was running.